Very good, very warm good morning to one and all present here. Our respected teachers, Sanjeev sir, Shabana ma'am, Shelza ma'am, and our esteemed guest speaker for today, Miss Swaruti Tamang ma'am, and my dear young friends. Team Mind Management, Gandhi Study Circle extends a warm welcome to all of you to the fourth session of Mind Management classes. I would like to make a few announcements before proceeding further. Participants are expected to maintain the decorum throughout the session. Participants are requested to mute themselves. You can ask your questions in the chat box, to which the speaker will reply in the end of the session. We are welcome to questions and comments, both in Hindi and English. Thank you in advance for helping us to conduct the session smoothly. Next, I take this opportunity to invite Dr. Shabana Azmi ma'am, teacher coordinator, mind management sessions, Zakir Hussain Delhi College, to kindly speak a few words and introduce today's guest speaker. Ma'am, the floor is open to you.
Thank you very much, Suraj. In fact, it's a great thing that Mind Management, Gandhi Study Circle, and Mind Management sessions events are conducting so many events, and that is in every Sunday they are conducting it, and students are really getting a lot of benefit out of it. And in that series only, we have organized the today's lecture by Miss Swaruti Tamang. So it is a matter of immense pleasure to introduce the speaker today. Miss Swaruti Tamang is a practicing psychologist working with kids and adults. She has an eclectic approach to her work where she incorporates techniques from various models to provide individuals the psychological support. She has been a well-trained expert working in this field for past many years. She has successfully conducted workshops on breath meditation, art therapy, and meditation with patients who are suffering from schizophrenia and bipolar disorders. She is currently working as a counselor in several schools and conduct workshops on meditation, life skills, stress management, yoga, and so on. She has also worked with big institutions like Brahma Kumaris, Isha Foundation, and Teach for India, and with many NGOs as well. The list of her endeavors, efforts, and her feats is quite long, and we all are eagerly waiting here to listen to Swaruti. So I won't take much of the time, and I will invite Swaruti to begin with her talk. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Dr. Shabana. Thank you, Suraj. I'm very happy to be here with everyone today. I think it's a great initiative that the college has taken to incorporate something called mind management in your as a part of your curriculum. And I think it's very important, especially in today's world, because mental health is by the day, mental health is becoming something which is not only spoken about a lot, but also it's something that a lot of us are struggling with. And there is no shame in admitting that we all struggle sometimes, right? The last 2 years with the pandemic have been even more stressful and have added to the stress that was already present. However, I think the approach that we have should be more solution focused, which is why we are here. So today I'm going to talk about something called mindful self-compassion. But before that, I would really like all of you to keep your videos on as much as possible. The reason is that if you keep your videos on, I'll be able to connect with you a little better, right? Otherwise, it's just like talking to the screen. Right. So today we are going to talk about mindful self-compassion. So let's understand what is it all about. I'm going to give you a situation to think about, okay? And if you have a pen and paper with you, that'll be great. So think about a situation when one of your dearest friends, one of your closest friends, comes and tells you that they are going through something very difficult. They're struggling with something which is huge in their life and they don't know what to do about it. what is the immediate response that you will have towards them? Just take a moment and think about it. If you like, you can also type it in the chat box, or you can just make a note of it in your notebook. How would you respond to a very dear friend who is struggling in life? Okay. Sakshi says, ask what is it? Asjad says, we will understand and try to solve the problem. Yes. Don't you think, I mean, all of you, I'm sure, something that must have struck your mind is that when your friend comes and tells you about their suffering, don't you feel a lot of compassion and love for them? आपके दिल में उनके लिए बहुत सारा प्यार, उनके लिए बहुत सारी हमदर्दी होती है, right? Rohit says, I'll try to make them feel comfortable and listen to them, right? Khushi says, first thing, I'll ask her to relax. Amazing, right? So all of you have given similar answers, and all of your answers are stemming from one thing, which is compassion, right? So what is compassion? Compassion is understanding the suffering of another, right? Empathizing with them, trying to connect with them, and hold space for them, right? You probably won't be able to solve your friend's problem, right? कभी कभी problems बहुत बड़ी होती है और आप शायद उसको solve नहीं कर पाओगे, पर आप अपने friend के साथ रहोगे, right? You're going to stand with your friend, you're going to let them know कि आप उनके साथ हो, right? You're going to offer them your love, you're going to offer them your compassion, right? And now I'm going to tell you another situation, right? Take a moment and just try to think, how do you respond to yourself when you are going through something really stressful? When you've made a big mistake, when you feel like you have failed, when you feel like you have not been doing good enough, you've not been achieving what you want to achieve, how do you treat yourself? आप खुद से कैसे बात करते हो जब आपको लगता है that you aren't doing enough? Right, you feel disappointed, you make plans, self-talk, sleep, okay, to try again and not give up. Okay, Rahul says negative thoughts appear in the mind, we feel stressed. Escapism, right. Okay. Wonderful. Okay, so I'm getting mixed answers here. Some of you respond to yourself, you try to soothe yourself, right? You try to offer yourself some comfort, but some of you said that we feel really disappointed. We start overthinking, we start overanalyzing, right? So scientifically, it has been proven that we tend to have three kinds of defense mechanisms, right? We have three different ways in which we deal with problems. One is fight, second is flight, and third is freeze, right? Either we try to fight the situation, or we try to run away from the situation, or we just freeze, right? And fight, flight, freeze, when it is turned inwards, जब ये हमारी बात हो रही है, तब ये तीन तरह से बाहर आता है. One, for fight, it's self criticism, यानी हम अपने आप को criticize करने लगते हैं. हम ये सोचने लगते हैं कि मुझसे क्या गलती हुई है, या मैं किस तरीके से लैक कर रही हूँ या लैक कर रहा हूँ जिस वजह से मैं ये प्रॉब्लम से नहीं निकल पा रहा हूँ, right? That's self criticism. The second one is self isolation, right? हम अपने आप को isolate कर लेते हैं, हम अपने आप को अकेला समझने लगते हैं, right? And the third one is self absorption, यानी कि हम अपने थॉट्स में इतने ज्यादा अब्जॉर्ब हो जाते हैं कि हमें रियलिटी से कहीं हमारा डिस्कनेक्शन हो जाता है, राइट? एंड वी गेट फ्रोजन इन दैट सिचुएशन. right? I'm sure we all have experienced this at some point, right? Now I'm going to tell you how are we going to counter this, right? So what is self-compassion all about? Let me just quickly share my screen with you. So today we are going to learn about self-compassion, and we are also going to practice some very easy ways in which we can connect with ourselves a little better, right? So self-compassion यानी कि अपने प्रति compassion रखना. This has three things inside it. One is mindfulness, right? What is the meaning of mindfulness? Mindfulness का simple मतलब होता है being aware of yourself, being aware of your thoughts, being aware of your bodily sensations. So अभी मैं इस वक्त आप लोगों से बात कर रही हूँ, right? अगर मैं इस मोमेंट को छोड़कर पास्ट के बारे में सोचने लगूंगी या मुझे इसके बाद क्या करना है उसके बारे में सोचने लगूंगी, then am I being present with you right now? No, right? I am neither in the present nor am I able to connect with you, right? So mindfulness is all about being here, being aware of what's going on inside me. What am I feeling right now? What am I experiencing in my body? Right? And the second component is self-kindness. जो काइंडनेस हम दूसरों के लिए दिखाते हैं या जो काइंडनेस हमें अपने लव्ड वंस के लिए फील होती है, extending that same kindness towards ourselves. And the third one is common humanity. What is the meaning of common humanity? So I'm sure that when you go through difficult situations, one of the things that happens immediately is that we feel isolated. हमें लगता है कि इस सिचुएशन में हम बिल्कुल अकेले हैं. मैं इकलौती इंसान हूं इस पूरी दुनिया में जिसको ऐसा फील हो रहा है और मुझे समझने वाला कोई नहीं है, right? These are the common tendencies that we have. Not understanding that feelings of anger, feelings of disappointment, feelings of shame, feelings of resentment are experienced by each and every one in the world. All 7.3 billion of us have experienced anger, have experienced disappointment, have experienced failure, right? सिर्फ हर एक इंसान की कहानी अलग है. That's why we feel like मेरे साथ जो हो रहा है, जो मैं एक्सपीरियंस कर रही हूँ, ये जो नेगेटिव इमोशंस, मुझे हैवी इमोशंस फील हो रहे हैं, ये इकलौती मैं ही हूँ पूरी दुनिया में जिसको ऐसा लग रहा है, राइट? और हम अपने आप को अकेला कर देते हैं, राइट? So through common humanity, we understand that it's not true. We all are actually in the same boat. We all experience positive as well as not so positive emotions on a daily basis, and it's completely okay to feel that way, right? So we are going to do a simple practice together, right? This practice is called affectionate breathing. Acha, tell me, how many of you have done some kind of meditation or mindfulness or breathing exercise, some form of, awareness-based exercise before? You can raise your hand or you can let me know in the chat box. Great, a lot of you. Wonderful. So today the practice that we are going to do is called affectionate breathing. Affection का मतलब होता है प्यार. Affection का मतलब होता है लगाव, right? So through affectionate breathing, we are going to extend our love towards ourselves, right? और हम इसको कैसे करेंगे? We will be using our breath to do it. Now, when you do breath meditation या फिर आपने mindfulness के simple practices की होंगी जिसमें आपने, you would have concentrated on your breath, you would have been aware of your breath, right? Affectionate breathing में हम एक step आगे जाते हैं. We go one step further and we use our breath to soothe ourselves, to relax ourselves, to provide ourselves with that love which we all need, right? So For this practice, you can all sit comfortably and completely relaxed. Right? If you want to take support for your back, you can do that as well. Now, before we enter this practice, I would like to introduce something very simple, which is affectionate gesture. Gesture का मतलब क्या होता है? Right? Any movement that you do with your hand to express something, right? That's a gesture, right? Or anything that you do with your body to express a certain emotion. So gesture, हम 3 तरह के affectionate gestures आज सीखेंगे, right? अगर आप चाहें तो ये मेरे साथ practice कर सकते हैं. You can also keep your video on. But if you feel a little conscious, तो आप अपना video off रख सकते हैं, right? So the first one is a very simple gesture, right? What are we going to do? We are going to place both our hands on our heart, right? This is the first affectionate gesture. Now, what does this do? अपने हाथों को जब हम अपने हार्ट पर रखते हैं, we are trying to tell our heart, we are trying to communicate to our heart that I'm here for you. I'm here for you and I'm listening to you. Right? That is what we are doing with this gesture. The second one is a gesture जो आपने देखा होगा जब हम छोटे थे और हम मम्मी के पास रोते हुए जाते थे तो हमारी मम्मी क्या करती थी? She would take our face and she would place it on her hands, right? So this is what our mothers would do. Just try doing this. It's so comforting, right? So you just place your face on your hands and you let your face relax, right? और आप बड़े प्यार से अपने फेस को टच करोगे, बड़े प्यार से उसको अफेक्शन के साथ you will comfort yourself, right? This is the second one. And the third gesture is the big warm hug. So we are going to give ourselves a big warm hug, a very nice tight hug, right? And what are we trying to communicate to ourselves? That I am here with you and I love you so much and you are so comfortable right now, right? जब हमें सब बहुत किसी की याद आती है, what do we want to do? We want to go and hug them right then and there, right? तो हम आज क्या सीखेंगे? Today we will learn to love ourselves by hugging ourselves, right? And the tighter the hug, the warmer the hug, the more you will feel comfortable. Okay? So these were the 3 gestures जो हम इस affectionate breathing में use करेंगे. The first one was placing your hands on your heart. Second one was placing your face on your hands. And the third one was giving yourself a warm hug, right? इन तीनों में से आपको सबसे ज्यादा जो comfortable लग रहा है, आप वो कर सकते हो. Okay? It's completely up to you. चलिए, now we start. So everyone sit comfortably, sit relaxed. You can keep your eyes closed. Take a deep breath in. And with a sigh, exhale out. Again, breathe in. And with a sigh, exhale out. Now, slowly start becoming aware of your breath. Become aware of how you are breathing in and breathing out. Don't try to change your breath pattern. Let it be just the way it is. नोटिस करिए कि जब आप सांस अंदर लेते हैं, आपका एब्डोमेन, आपका पेट बाहर की तरफ आता है, एंड व्हेन यू breathe out, your abdomen relaxes, your stomach relaxes. Now we will take 2 or 3 very deep breaths, filling ourselves with freshness. And as we breathe out, we will relax into our body. Take a deep breath in. Breathe in freshness. Breathe out and relax into your body. We will repeat this 2 to 3 times. Breathing in, I breathe in freshness. Breathing out, I relax into my body. Breathing in, I breathe in freshness. Breathing out, I relax into my body. And now slowly let your breath become normal. आप जिस तरह नॉर्मल सांस लेते हैं, आप वैसे सांस लीजिए. Now I would like to remind you of a beautiful image. Imagine करिए कि जिस तरह एक माँ अपने बच्चे को झूला झुलाती है, छोटे से बेबी को झूला झुलाती है, बड़े प्यार से उसके साथ बैठ के उसको बहुत प्यार से देखते हुए उसको झूला झुलाती है, उसी तरह we are going to let our breath cradle us. हम अपनी breath को allow करेंगे हमें उसी तरह झूला झुलाने के लिए. So as you breathe in and out, आप महसूस करेंगे कि आपकी जो breath है, आपकी जो श्वास है, वो आपको बड़े प्यार से झूला झुला रही है. बड़े प्यार से आपके बॉडी के हर एक पार्ट को वो प्यार, वो कंपैशन, वो केयर, आपकी ब्रेथ, आपके शरीर के हर एक पार्ट को वो कंपैशन पहुंचा रही है. Let yourself be cradled by your breath. Let yourself be loved by your breath. अगर आप चाहें तो आप बहुत स्लो मूवमेंट भी कर सकते हैं. Very slowly you can swing from right to left and left to right. Very slowly you can swing from right to left and left to right. अब हम इंट्रोड्यूस करेंगे हमारा अफेक्शनेट जेस्चर. जो 3 जेस्चर्स मैंने आपको सिखाए हैं उसमें से एक आप यूज कर सकते हैं. You can place your hand on your heart, or you can give yourself a hug, or you can place your face on your hands. Whatever it is that you want to do, you can go ahead and do that. And let yourself gently sway with your breath. और आप mentally या loudly ये repeat कर सकते हैं. I am here with you. I am here for you. I love you. I am here with you. I am here for you. And I love you. I am here with you. I am here for you. And I love you. Slowly, you can relax your hands and you can become aware of your breathing. Feel the warmth in your heart. Feel the beautiful love that you can feel extending in every part of your body through your breath. Let's take a deep breath in. And with a sigh, breathe out. Again, breathe in. And with a sigh, breathe out. Whenever you are ready, you can gently open your eyes. I can see some of you want to stay with yourself a little longer, and that's completely fine. We can continue hugging ourselves and we can continue being with ourselves. Another thing that I really love to do is when I am a little stressed out, I not only hug myself, but I also gently pat myself on the shoulder. I gently rub my hand on my arm, just to reassure myself that Swaruti, everything's fine. I'm here for you and everything's going to be okay. Right? So just take 2 minutes to maybe put it in the chat box or in your notebook about how did you feel with this experience, right? What are the sensations that you felt? What was your experience like? You can just make a mental note of it. Wonderful. So now what are we going to do? We are going to learn about something called resistance, right? So many positive messages in the chat box. Thank you so much, everyone. I would recommend doing this at least once a day. I have an audio recording of this meditation and my voice. I will send it to the coordinators and you can take it from them so that you can do it every day, right? So today we are going to learn something about resistance. One of my teachers had given a very beautiful definition of suffering to me. So my teacher said suffering is equal to pain into resistance. Suffering is equal to pain into resistance. इसका क्या मतलब होता है? See, one thing that we all know that सबकी लाइफ में challenges हैं, सबकी लाइफ में कोई ना कोई ऐसी तकलीफ है, कोई ना कोई ऐसा पेन है that they are trying to deal with, right? लेकिन suffering is something that we magnify by resisting pain. मान लीजिए मेरे पैर में चोट लग गई है, ठीक है, मेरे पैर में फ्रैक्चर हो गया फॉर एग्जाम्पल, और मैं ये मानने को तैयार ही नहीं हूं कि मेरे पैर में फ्रैक्चर हुआ है. मैं कह रही हूँ नहीं, आई एम नॉट गोइंग टू एक्सेप्ट दैट आई हैव पेन, or I'm going to resist this pain as much as possible. Am I going to suffer more or am I going to suffer less? More, right? Kyunki I am not accepting that I'm in pain. And until and unless I accept that I'm in pain, I will not be able to provide the care, the attention, and the nurturing that I require to overcome that pain. Right? So in the same way, जब हमारे दिल में पेन होता है तब हम उसको resist करना शुरू कर देते हैं. And how do we resist? Can some of you tell me how do we resist pain? You can put it in the chat box. हम पेन को कैसे avoid करने की कोशिश करते हैं, कैसे resist करने की कोशिश करते हैं? Escape, yeah, very good. What else? We ignore pain. We say everything is fine. We don't think about it. We distract ourselves, divert ourselves, busy रखने की कोशिश करते हैं. अच्छा, मुझे बताइए, पेन को इग्नोर करने से, अवॉइड करने से, बिजी रखने से अपने आप को, पेन चला जाता है क्या अपने आप मैजिकली गायब? No, right? It stays there, right? And it not only stays there, but वो बड़ा होता जाता है, right? मान लीजिए आपने अपने पेन पे बैंडेड लगा दी, ठीक है, और वो बैंडेड गीली हो गई है और उसके अंदर जो वूंड है, उसके अंदर जो चोट लगी है, उसमें वो वूंड ग्रो होता जा रहा है, राइट? इट फेस्टर्स इवन मोर. इन द सेम वे हम क्या करते हैं, अपने आप को डिस्ट्रैक्ट करके, चीजों में उलझा के, हम अपने पेन को के ऊपर ध्यान नहीं देते हैं और वो क्या होता जाता है, वो धीरे धीरे बड़ा होता जाता है. इट स्टार्ट्स फेस्टरिंग, दैट वूंड स्टार्ट्स फेस्टरिंग, राइट? So today we are going to learn something very interesting. We are going to learn about how can we reduce the amount of resistance. मैंने क्या कहा था? Suffering is equal to pain into resistance. तो हम resistance को जितना छोटा करते जाएंगे ना, हमारी जो suffering है वो automatically reduce होती जाएगी, क्योंकि pain is inevitable. हम सबकी लाइफ में किसी ना किसी तरीके से pain available and ready है ना? And this pain that we experience in our life, कुछ लोग इसको चैलेंज की तरह देखते हैं, कुछ लोग इसको एक बड़ी मुसीबत की तरह देखते हैं. But the way I look at suffering and the way I look at pain is that I think that pain is a very, very, very beautifully designed technique by life to allow you to become a better person. The challenges that you face in your life teach you such life skills that are going to stay with you throughout your life. अगर मैं अपनी लाइफ के सबसे बड़े चैलेंजेस को देखूं पीछे मुड़ के, तो मैं रियलाइज करती हूँ कि उन चैलेंजेस के थ्रू मैंने ऐसी ऐसी चीजें सीखी जो लाइफ स्किल्स मुझे हमेशा काम आने वाली हैं, and they've made my life only richer and better, right? So today we are going to learn an exercise जिसको कहते हैं soften, allow and love. You can write this in your notebook. Soften, 3 steps हैं. Soften, soft करना. Second is allow and third is love. Soften हम किसको करते हैं? अपनी bodily sensations को. Allow करते हैं अपने thoughts को. और love is for our emotions, right? हमारे अंदर 3 systems होते हैं ना, so there is one for each system. Okay, there is a very beautiful question. I'm going to definitely take that up at the end. Okay, right. So इस practice में क्या है? Basically, there are just 3 steps. Step 1 is that we identify that there is some form of pain that we are experiencing, some form of discomfort that we are experiencing, right? और हम अपनी body में उसको locate करने की कोशिश करते हैं. We try to locate where is that feeling of, stiffness, where is that feeling of congestion, where are we feeling it? I think a lot of you would have noticed कि जब आप stressed out होते हो, तब आपको अपने chest के area में या shoulders के यहाँ बहुत contracted feel होता है, right? You feel like you want to just curl up in a ball and not face the world, right? Or you feel a lot of heaviness in your abdomen, right? You feel a lot of heaviness in your chest. ऐसा लगता है कि that pain जो हम कहते हैं ना दिल का दर्द, it is very physical, right? We can actually feel it. So we will identify that pain and we will try to soften it. The second thing that we are going to do is we are not going to resist that pain. We are going to allow that pain to be there. है ना? हम उसको acknowledge करेंगे. और तीसरी चीज जो हम करेंगे वो है love, giving affection to ourselves so that we can heal ourselves. मान लीजिए अगर आपके आसपास एक छोटा सा बेबी है, ठीक है, एक छोटा बच्चा, टॉडलर 1-2 साल का. आई एम श्योर यू ऑल वुड हैव noticed this at some point in your life, is if you avoid the toddler when he or she is crying, अगर कोई बेबी रो रहा है और आपका ध्यान खिंचवाने की कोशिश कर रहा है अपनी तरफ, और अगर आप उसको अवॉइड करते हो तो उसका रोना बंद नहीं हो जाता है, वो और जोर जोर से रोना शुरू करता है, राइट? सो इन द सेम वे हमारा जो दिल भी होता है ना, वो पहले धीरे से रोता है, फिर वो जोर जोर से चीखना शुरू कर देता है जब हम उसको उसके ऊपर ध्यान नहीं देते हैं, राइट? सो थ्रू दिस प्रैक्टिस वी आर गोइंग टू डू that. We are going to give that small child within us that love and attention, right? So again, sit comfortably. बड़े होके करेंगे, ठीक है? All right. So let's sit comfortably. You can take support for your back if you need it. You can keep your eyes closed. Now let's take 3 deep breaths. With every breath, relax yourself more and more. You can repeat after me. As I breathe in, I relax myself. And as I breathe out, I relax even further. As I breathe in, I relax myself. As I breathe out, I relax even deeper. Now, for this practice, gently bring to mind a situation or a difficulty or something painful that you are dealing with right now in your life. कोई suffering, कोई ऐसा दर्द जो आप महसूस कर रहे हैं, or something, some pain that you are aware of. It could be any pain that you are going through in your life right now. And as you become aware of that pain, as you become aware of that challenge, notice what happens to your body. Notice what happens to your breath. Now, very gently, bring your attention to your heart space. अपनी heart space, अपने chest के around अपना attention लेकर आइए. What do you feel? आपका heart क्या experience कर रहा है? Is it feeling contracted or is it relaxed? Just become aware of it. And with every breath, use your breath to soften that contraction. You can even mentally repeat soft, soft, soft. Allow your heart to soften. Now, do a very simple scan of your body from your head to your toe. Scan kariye and try to become aware of the body parts where you feel stiffness, where you feel tightness, where you feel that contraction. आपका जो ये पेन है, जो ये दर्द है, ये आपकी बॉडी में कहाँ जाकर स्टोर हो गया है. Become aware of that. And with every breath, try to soften that tightness, that contraction. You can repeat to yourself mentally, I allow this body part, and then name the body part, to soften. So if that contraction is in your chest, you can say, I allow my chest to soften. I allow the muscles of my chest to soften. Now, slowly become aware of the thought processes going on in your mind. As you think about the problem, what are the thoughts that are running in your mind? And allow those thoughts to pass like clouds passing in the sky. जिस तरह बादल आसमान में उड़ते हैं, एक तरह से दूसरी जगह कहीं भी ठहरते नहीं हैं. Let your thoughts just pass by. Allow them to just move very gently at their own speed. अगर कोई ऐसा थॉट भी आपको लगता है जो थोड़ा डिफिकल्ट है, नेगेटिव है, let it just pass. Allow it to just be there and pass at its own speed. And you can repeat in your mind, I allow this thought to pass. Now, step 3 is love. Come back into your heart space. Bring your awareness back gently to your heart space. If you like, you can place your hand on your heart, or you can give yourself a warm hug, a loving hug. And allow that warmth, that love to reach your heart. Allow your love to hold your heart space. And you can repeat after me. My dear heart, I'm here for you. You are so loved. I know that this situation is difficult, but I'm here to support you. I know that you're doing the best that you can. I'm holding you in love. I'm holding you in care. And then you can say dear, and you can take your name. So for example, I'll say dear Swaruti. In the same way, you can take your name, dear. I know that I'm doing the best that I can. Sometimes the best may not look the same as I expect it to be. Sometimes my best does not meet the standards that I've set for myself. But I know that I'm here for you. And I'm here with you, loving you and supporting you. Notice that as you say these words to yourself, how does your heart feel? How does your body feel? Slowly and gently, let's become aware of our breathing. Deep breaths. Relax even further. And whenever you're ready, you can relax your hands and gently open your eyes. Take your time. There's no hurry. For those of you who are done, you can, make a note of how you're feeling right now. What did you experience? What were your thoughts? Just make a note of it. Some of you have shared it in the chat. So Bhavna has said something really beautiful. She says, ma'am, during this practice, my eyes were filled with tears. Is there a reason behind it? So Bhavna, the reason you felt your eyes tearing up is because of love. So these were tears of love that you felt for yourself, right? There are so many times when I sit to meditate where I feel a lot of love for myself, right? And that love just fills our eyes with lots of tears. Komal says, ma'am, मेरी आंखों में आंसू आ गए, right? कि मुझे एक hug चाहिए. So Komal, आपको अगर hug चाहिए, give yourself a big hug, right? Give yourself a nice warm hug. And it's completely okay. It's actually very, very beautiful that you felt that way, right? So हमारी eyes का हमारे heart से direct connection होता है, right? जब भी हमारा heart थोड़ा सा warm feel करता है, तो हमारी eyes automatically tear up होने लगती हैं. Right. There are questions also coming in. Once we're done with the practices and we've summarized, I'll just take questions, right? And I don't have the time limit of till 11th. Get your questions clarified. That is completely okay with me, right? So one very important thing that I wanted to point out and share with all of you is that the Indian system of upbringing, or the way we've seen ourselves being brought up, we have observed that the way we were raised, at least that is what I remember about myself, is that our parents, teachers, and our peers would use a lot of interesting ways to motivate us, right? और उनमें से एक तरीका होता है fear use करना, right? आप ऐसा नहीं करोगे तो ये हो जाएगा, ऐसी पढ़ाई नहीं करोगे तो मार्क्स नहीं आएंगे तो ये हो जाएगा, ये करोगे तो ऐसे हो जाएगा, right? So there was always a very fearful consequence attached to every action, right? एक ये तरीका होता है मोटिवेट करने का, और दूसरा तरीका होता है शेम यूज करने का, राइट? देखो सब लोग खाना खा रहे हैं और आप देखो खाना नहीं खा रहे हो, राइट? और इस तरीके से शेम क्रिएट करके, और ये हमारे सिस्टम का हिस्सा बन गया है. सो इट्स नॉट लाइक ये एक या दो लोग ऐसा करते हैं, राइट? इट्स अ वेरी कॉमन पार्ट ऑफ आवर कल्चर is that we use shame and fear to motivate ourselves and others, right? और हम जनरेशन बाय जनरेशन यही गलत तरीका फॉरवर्ड करते जाते हैं, राइट? बट सेल्फ कंपैशन डज नॉट मीन कि मैं अपने अंदर जो गलतियां हैं उनको आइडेंटिफाई ही ना करूं, राइट? सेल्फ कंपैशन, इन फैक्ट, रिसर्च ने प्रूव कर दिया, इट्स बीन प्रूवन बाय रिसर्च दैट सेल्फ कंपैशन इज वन ऑफ द मोस्ट प्रोडक्टिव वेज टू मोटिवेट योरसेल्फ, राइट? हमारा, जैसे मैंने कहा, हमारा जो दिल है, हमारा जो मन है, वो छोटे बच्चे की तरह होता है, राइट? आपको उसको डिसिप्लिन भी करना है और प्यार से भी चलाना है, राइट? अगर आप किसी बच्चे को बचपन से ही बहुत मारो, उसको मार मार के बड़ा करो, तो वो क्या हो जाता है? ढीठ हो जाता है. he or she becomes very hard skinned, right? फिर उसको किसी बात का कोई असर नहीं होता है, right? Similarly, our mind is like that. And I would like to take one promise from all of you who are present here today, is that you will never again in your life ever use degrading words for yourself. अपने आप को उल्लू का पट्टा, idiot, ये सब कभी मत बोलना, right? And I want this promise from all of you. So I want you all to type it in the chat box that I promise I will never use degrading words for myself, right? we have to be very aware of what our vocabulary is. हम अपनी तरह अपने साथ किस तरह से बात करते हैं. What is the way in which I behave with myself, right? I'm sure कि जिस तरह से आप लोग अपने आप से बात करते हो, अगर आप उसी तरह अपने फ्रेंड्स को क्रिटिसाइज करना शुरू कर दोगे तो आपका एक भी फ्रेंड नहीं बचेगा, राइट? बिकॉज वी हैव द हाईएस्ट अमाउंट ऑफ क्रिटिसिज्म फॉर आवरसेल्फ, राइट? दूसरों को हम बहुत मोटिवेट करते हैं, लेकिन जब अपनी बारी आती है then we use all kinds of horrible words for ourselves, right? So now if you make a mistake, and you are going to make mistakes because we are all human, right? We are going to make mistakes. So next time you make a mistake, you make an error, identify the error, and whatever word you want to use for that mistake. Oh, I made such a stupid mistake. Not instead of look at me, I'm so stupid, right? एक होता है कि मैं कितनी पागल हूं, मैंने इतनी बड़ी गलती कर दी, and it's completely different from oh my god, I made such a stupid mistake, I wish I would have done better, I wish I would have known better, right? So instead of shaming yourself, instead of shaming your heart, you will now learn to identify the mistake and try to rectify your actions, right? हम अपने आप को इतना डिग्रेड कर देते हैं, इतना शेमफुल फील कराते हैं, इतना फियर क्रिएट कर देते हैं that there is no scope for rectification left, right? So never use degrading words for yourself. Be very, very aware of the way you talk to yourself. अपने लिए कोई अच्छा सा पेट नेम सोच लो, right? The pet name that the way I address myself is I call myself sweetheart, right? So whenever I'm in the middle of a crisis or I'm experiencing very difficult emotions, or if I make a mistake, I call myself sweetheart. It's okay. You made a very big mistake, but next time we will try not repeating the same. Or sweetheart, you're in the middle of a very big crisis, but it's okay. It will pass, right? This is very different from देखो यार मैं कितनी stupid हूँ, मुझसे इतना छोटा सा काम नहीं हुआ, right? So now today onwards, choose a loving word for yourself, right? And you can in fact type it in the chat box. आप अपने आप को क्या बुलाओगे? Darling, sweetheart, Shona, जो भी बुलाना है बुलाओ, right? But have a loving name for yourself. Yeah, Kushi says babe, right? Kushi, you will now call yourself babe from today. Babu, very sweet. Ramphal. Wow, very nice. Right. So have very, very Babu Moshai. Oh, that's so sweet. So have really loving phrases for yourself, loving words for yourself. And, you know, there is a saying, you cannot ever pour from an empty cup. जब तक आप अपना खुद का ग्लास फुल नहीं करोगे, तब तक आप दूसरों को कैसे वो दे पाओगे, राइट? सो हमें पहले जो हमारा सारा कंपैशन और लव है वो अपने लिए एक्सटेंड करना है, और जब हम अपने आप को पूरी तरीके से कंपैशन और लव से भर देंगे, ऑटोमेटिकली वो लव दूसरों तक पहुंचना शुरू होगा, राइट? Okay, so now officially the time is over. So if those of you who are running late or you have some other things to do, you can, go ahead and do that. And we can maybe take the questions now, right?
Yeah. So first of all, I just, on the behalf of each and every person present here, ma'am, I would like to say that we are so grateful that we were like, so, we were so fortunate that we got this opportunity to, take such illuminating and insightful session from you. It was really not less than an opportunity. And I guess there might be several friends who are very eagerly waiting to ask some questions. I would like to call upon the stage Chandni, if you can moderate the session further.
Thank you, Suraj, and thank you so much, ma'am. So there is only one question. Are there stances when self-love also fails to motivate us?
Right. So that's a very interesting question, right? But before answering this question, I would like to first question all of you to think about what is self-love. Self-love का मतलब क्या होता है? राइट हमें लगता है सेल्फ लव का सिर्फ इतना मतलब होता है कि हम अपने आप को पैम्पर करें, हम अपने आप को अच्छी अच्छी चीजें ला के दें, वार्म वाटर बाथ लें, बबल बाथ लें, अच्छी सी कॉफी पी के आए, राइट? दीज आर वेज ऑफ सेल्फ केयर, बट दिस इज नॉट सिर्फ ये ही सेल्फ लव नहीं होता है, राइट? सेल्फ लव के पहले हमें सेल्फ कंपैशन सीखना पड़ता है, क्योंकि जब तक आप किसी से कनेक्ट नहीं कर सकते, जब तक आपके अंदर किसी के लिए करुणा नहीं है, किसी के लिए कंपैशन नहीं है, तब तक आप उसको प्यार नहीं कर सकते। क्योंकि प्यार का मतलब सिर्फ पॉजिटिव चीजों पर ध्यान देना नहीं होता है। प्यार का मतलब होता है सामने वाले के पॉजिटिव और नेगेटिव दोनों को एक्सेप्ट करना, राइट? उनके अंदर जो वीकनेसेस हैं उनको भी एक्सेप्ट करना। सिमिलरली फॉर माई सेल्फ, राइट? If I cannot have compassion for my suffering, if I cannot just acknowledge that, yes, I am suffering, right? How am I going to ever have love for myself, right? Self-compassion के दो aspects होते हैं जिन्हें हम yin and yang कहते हैं. When I take longer trainings of self-compassion, I teach participants about it. Yin self-compassion का मतलब होता है कि अपने आप को सूद करना, जैसे हमने आज सीखा, राइट? बट यांग सेल्फ कंपैशन का मतलब होता है कि अपनी वीकनेस को समझना और उस पे काम करने के लिए स्टेप्स लेना, राइट? लेकिन किस तरह से? पॉजिटिव तरीके से। जैसे मैंने आज कहा ना, दैट हम किस तरह से अपने खुद से बात करते हैं, राइट? व्हाट आर द वर्ड्स दैट वी यूज? आर दोज एनकरेजिंग वर्ड्स और आर दोज डिस्करेजिंग वर्ड्स, राइट? अगर मैं अपने आप को डर से, शेम से मोटिवेट करने की कोशिश करती हूँ, तो वो मोटिवेशन थोड़े देर के बाद जाके फेल हो जाएगा। बट इफ आई ट्रेन माई सेल्फ to provide myself with constant support and motivation while also being aware that I have certain weaknesses that I have to work on. For example, if I give you my personal example, I am not very good with writing, as in मेंटेनिंग रिकॉर्ड्स। जो क्लरिकल चीजें होती है ना, मेंटेनिंग रिकॉर्ड्स, और हमारी फील्ड में ये सब बहुत करना होता है, राइट? एंड आई एम नॉट वेरी वेरी गुड विद इट। सो देयर आर टू वेज आई कैन मेक माई सेल्फ डू दिस। एक तो डांट फटकार के कि क्या यार स्वरुति, जब लास्ट मोमेंट आता है तभी तुम्हें ये सब याद आता है, राइट? दैट इज वन वे ऑफ मोटिवेटिंग माई सेल्फ। एंड द सेकेंड वे इज कॉन्स्टेंटली मोटिवेटिंग माई सेल्फ एवरी डे। सो सेल्फ लव कहाँ फेल होता है? जब उसमें कंसिस्टेंसी नहीं होती है, राइट? सो देयर आर चांसेस व्हेन इवन थ्रू सेल्फ लव यू विल नॉट बी एबल टू मोटिवेट योरसेल्फ इफ यू आर नॉट कंसिस्टेंट विद इट। अगर आपका अपने लिए ही प्यार कंडीशनल है कि जब मैं जीत रही हूं तो मेरा प्यार अपने लिए बहुत उमड़ उमड़ के बाहर आता है, लेकिन व्हेन आई एम फेलिंग इन लाइफ तो वो गायब हो जाता है। इफ इट्स नॉट कंसिस्टेंट देन इट विल नॉट वर्क, राइट? ओके, so was this answer satisfactory enough?
Thank you so much, ma'am. And next question is, isn't that we deal with pains and sufferings according to our daily moods? Sometimes we take it positive and sometimes negatives, or we ignore it.
Absolutely. There is a very beautiful thing which is taught in self-compassion. वो ये है that your heart is like a flower, right? It opens and it closes. Certain days, either you are physically exhausted or you're emotionally exhausted or you're mentally exhausted, that you don't have the capacity to deal with a lot of pain. And on those days, it's completely okay to park that pain aside and to let yourself first relax and come to a point of equilibrium, right? आप इमोशनली एग्जॉस्टेड हो पहले से ही, और आप कह रहे हो नहीं, ये सारा जो पेन है 5 सालों का जो मैंने प्रोसेस नहीं किया है, मैं आज ही प्रोसेस करूंगी, देन दिस इज नॉट सेल्फ कंपैशन, राइट? यू हैव टू बी फर्स्ट अवेयर कि फिजिकली, इमोशनली, मेंटली एम आई इन दैट स्टेट ऑफ बैलेंस कि मैं अपने पेन को प्रोसेस कर सकूं, राइट? सो ऑफ कोर्स according to our moods, according to situations, we have a very different approach towards pain. However, we have to let our heart be in its natural process. We have to trust the intelligence of the heart, right? So if your heart is open, if your heart feels very open and relaxed, and you do feel that you have the capacity to process pain, then you can go ahead with it. But if you feel that your heart is feeling closed, then let it be. Let it first come to balance, right?
Thank you, ma'am. And next question is that sometimes it happens that we lack motivation and we plan everything that we will do this and this, but we weren't able to do that things. So how to tackle the situation?
So how to motivate yourself, or how to be okay with that you did not complete everything that you were supposed to? What is the question?
The question I think is that how to complete that things, how to motivate ourselves that we can do this.
Right. So one thing that, like I said, we need to be aware of is that I have certain areas in which I shine, certain things that naturally I'm good at, I'm gifted at, and those are my strengths. But there are certain areas that are not my strengths, certain areas where I don't shine, right? And self-compassion teaches us to become aware of these and then to have a very loving approach towards motivating ourselves. Let's take an example, ठीक है? Suppose आपको लग रहा है कि आपका weight बढ़ता जा रहा है, but आपके पास motivation ही नहीं है कि उसके लिए आप कुछ करो, राइट? या फिर आपको पता है कि एग्जाम्स अभी बिल्कुल सर पे है, बिल्कुल 1 महीने में एग्जाम है, बट मेरे पास मोटिवेशन ही नहीं है कि मैं अपने आप को पढ़ाई करवा सकूं, राइट? इन सच सिचुएशंस I teach my clients one very important thing. One is to develop outer resources, and second is to develop inner resources. Outer resources क्या होती हैं? ऐसे लोग, ऐसे पॉडकास्ट्स, ऐसे मोटिवेशनल वीडियोस, ऐसे मोटिवेशनल ग्रुप्स, आपका बेस्ट फ्रेंड, आपकी मम्मी, आपके पापा, जो आपको बाहर से मोटिवेट कर पाए, आपको रिमाइंड कर पाए कि आप जो कर रहे हो उसका गोल क्या है, राइट? और आप क्यों कर रहे हो, राइट? सो आइडेंटिफाइंग अ रिसोर्स पर्सन एंड टेलिंग देम कि यार, यू कैन टेल योर बेस्ट फ्रेंड, यार मुझे ना सुबह उठने को हो ही नहीं रहा है, can you please for 1 or 2 weeks just wake me up every day, right, and make sure that I am awake, right? So you can use resource persons outside you to motivate yourself. एक वो तरीका होता है. Second way is building your inner resources, जिसको हम inner resilience कहते हैं. प्रॉब्लम को फेस करने का, प्रॉब्लम से बाहर निकलने का मेरा सिस्टम क्या है, right? Do I use journaling? Do I use music? Do I use movement? Do I use meditation? क्या मेरे वो स्टेप्स हैं, क्या तरीके हैं जिससे मैं अपने आप को बेटर फील करवा सकती हूँ? How can I bring myself to a place of balance and positivity, right? Once I've done that, then I can use any of the self-compassion practices to talk to myself, right? That Swaruti, I'll give you an example of exams, ठीक है? For example, मैं student हूँ. स्वरुति, हमारे पास 1 महीना बचा है, and I love you a lot. I'm here for you. However, I also know that you have the capacity to study well. You have the capacity to give your best. And through making a very good timetable, I will be able to achieve this. मुझे अपनी तरफ से पूरी मेहनत करनी है. फिर आगे क्या होता है, that is something that I will have to leave to fate. So self-talk is one of the most important ways in which you can motivate yourself, right? So when you combine both the resources, inner and outer, that is when you will be able to easily find a way कि आप बैलेंस तरीके से अपने आप को मोटिवेट कर सको. And also being realistic with your goals. I always teach my students, make smart goals, right? आपके goals smart होने चाहिए. अगर आपने decide कर लिया मैं 20 किलो 1 महीने में कम करके दिखाऊंगी, it's not going to happen. It's unrealistic, right? So creating smart, specific, measurable goals, right? What does A stand for? A, I think R stands for realistic, and T stands for time bound. A, I'm not sure what does it stand for, भी मुझे याद नहीं आ रहा है, but you can Google it. आपको कहीं पे भी easily ये words मिल जाएंगे. Make smart goals, right? So if you make smart goals, motivation, अपने आप को motivate करना आसान होता है, right?
Thank you, ma'am, for these better ways. So next question is like sometimes it happens we love our relatives, our friends, but they won't take care of our feelings and our mind situation. So what to do in that situations? Like we feel frustrated if they won't take care of us. So what to do in that situations?
Can you just repeat your question?
Ma'am, the question is what to do if we feel we are caring for our relatives or friends, but they won't take care of us, our feelings. So what to do?
This is a very interesting question, right? क्योंकि यहाँ पे जो बात हो रही है वो है बाउंड्रीज की. एक तो मैंने पहली बात ये कही, right, that you cannot pour from an empty cup. So आपको पहले अपने आप के लिए compassion, अपने आप के लिए प्यार डेवलप करना बहुत important है, right? There is a saying that compassion without boundaries is self-destruction. And you can note this down. Compassion without boundaries is self-destruction. आप किसी को देते जाओ, and if the person doesn't have the value for what you are doing, right? If they don't value you, then you are crossing your own boundaries. And it's time to take a step back and re-evaluate. The moment you feel कि हमारी boundaries cross हो रही हैं, क्योंकि जब boundaries cross होते हैं तो पता चल जाता है, right? When you know that somebody is crossing your emotional boundaries, take a step back and re-evaluate कि ऐसा क्यों हो रहा है? What is it exactly that is happening in this situation? Where do I need to create a boundary, right? I will always tell this story कि मान लो अगर एक बड़े फार्म में 2-3 फार्मर्स रहते हैं, राइट? अगर आपके फार्म के अराउंड बाउंड्री नहीं है तो आसपास के सारे फार्मर्स और एनिमल्स आके आपका सारा खाना खा के चले जाएंगे, राइट? सो इट्स वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट दैट यू लर्न टू डेवलप बाउंड्रीज. एंड इन द इंडियन सोसाइटी वन ऑफ द थिंग्स दैट वी स्ट्रगल विद द मोस्ट इज बाउंड्रीज. ना बोलना नहीं आता है हमें. किसी ने कुछ बोला हाँ हाँ हाँ, भले ही उसके लिए हमें सब कुछ साइड पे रखना पड़े, लेकिन हमें हाँ बोलना बहुत अच्छा लगता है, राइट? सो लर्निंग टू से नो इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. And second thing to keep in mind is that if I'm in a situation where I have to selflessly care for someone else, suppose कोई doctor है, कोई nurse है, कोई situation में where they have to care for somebody else without being able to get that love back, right? Then you need to build a system for yourself जिससे आप अपनी care कर सको, right? उसमें मेडिटेशन आता है, जर्नलिंग आता है, टेकिंग केयर ऑफ योर बॉडी, टेकिंग केयर ऑफ योर माइंड, टेकिंग केयर ऑफ योर हार्ट, right? So you have to, if you have to take care of someone else but you're not getting it back, then one, you need to reevaluate your boundaries, and second, you need to build a system of self-care, right?
Thank you, ma'am. And my last question is, like sometimes a number of bad events happen in our past and then a person feels frustrated, but they won't know what is the main reason or cause of frustration. So how to tackle that frustration or irritation?
So your question is, how do we handle difficult emotions, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So I'll tell you one quote. Okay, this is by a very famous Buddhist teacher, and she says, a very beautiful and simple meditation practice to have, and you can just do it for 5 minutes in the day. She says, I am the sky and everything else is the weather. Everything else is the weather. I am the sky. इसका मतलब क्या होता है? You know, if you look at the sky, it's always blue, right? Sometimes when there are clouds, heavy clouds, white clouds, dark clouds, very dark clouds, so थोड़े time के लिए sky का color changed होता है, लेकिन उसके पीछे sky is still blue in color, right? It's like अगर मेरे पास एक बड़ा सा canvas है और उसमें थोड़े time के लिए कुछ चीजें अगर मैं add कर देती हूँ, तो canvas का color change नहीं होता है, right? So if I do this If I have this awareness that I am the sky, in fact, we can all say it together. I am the sky. I am the sky. Everything else is the weather. Right? हमारी लाइफ में जो कुछ हो रहा है वो इन क्लाउड्स की तरह होता है. कभी कभी क्लाउड्स वाइट होते हैं, कभी कभी ब्यूटीफुल होते हैं, बट कभी कभी डार्क क्लाउड्स आ जाते हैं. राइट? And the more I try to resist it, the more I try to say that नहीं यार, मेरे वेदर में तो हमेशा सब कुछ अच्छा होना चाहिए, तो ऐसा नहीं होने वाला. There are going to be dark clouds, there are going to be sad days, there are going to be very sad days. But am I aware कि ये सब कुछ इस कैनवस के ऊपर हो रहा है? We did a practice, right? जब हमने clouds को allow किया था pass होने के लिए, right? In the same way, always remember that your darkest days are also not permanent and your brightest days are also not permanent. So jab darkest days ho, we have to hold space for ourselves. We have to learn to love ourselves and motivate ourselves. And when the sun is shining bright, then we have to learn to enjoy it to the fullest, right? So one is stop resisting pain. The more you resist, the more it will increase. And second, is to be aware that ये सब जो हो रहा है ये एक बहुत ही temporary phase के लिए है, right? And third is to, like I said, developing and cultivating self-care practices, right? Self-care practices, if you just Google or go online, you can find, if I had time, I would have given you a lot of practices, but even if you go online, you can find plenty of ways in which you can take care of yourself, right? So 3 things we have to remember. There's just one question that has come directly. So Sakshi says that, ma'am, I felt my heart is not protected while doing the soften, allow, love exercise. Right? So, see, one thing we need to remember is जो मैंने exercises आज सिखाए हैं, वो वैक्सीनेशन के इंजेक्शन की तरह नहीं है कि हम 1 डोज डालेंगे या 2 डोज डालेंगे और सब कुछ ठीक हो जाएगा, राइट? हम फिर से कभी बीमार नहीं पड़ेंगे. These exercises are more like विटामिन बी की जो इंजेक्शन होती है ना, आपको हर थोड़े थोड़े दिन में लगवानी पड़ती है क्योंकि हमारा विटामिन बी और डी कम हो जाता है, राइट? सो इट्स लाइक दैट. You have to be very regular with these practices. And मान लो मेरे पास इतना सारा पेन है और मैंने आज ये प्रैक्टिस की, राइट? वन ऑफ द थिंग्स दैट कैन हैपन इज वो पेन जो नीचे छुपा हुआ था वो सरफेस पे आ गया, राइट? और अगर वो सरफेस पे आ गया तो वो क्यों आया है? वो साफ होने के लिए आया है. तो हमें उसको साफ होने देना है, राइट? अगर आपको लग रहा है कि नहीं, मैं 10 मिनट प्रैक्टिस करने बैठी तो फिर भी मुझे अनईजी फील हो रहा है, डू इट फॉर 20 मिनट्स, डू इट फॉर हाफ एन आवर, मेक इट एन एवरीडे प्रैक्टिस, एंड विथ टाइम you will be able to soften that pain to a very deep level, right?
Thank you very much, ma'am, for this.
Sorry, सूरज, ये अभी ये जो क्वेश्चन आया इसमें मैं इससे रिलेटेड कुछ बताना चाहती हूँ, व्हाट आई एक्सपीरियंस. सो बेसिकली ये जो साक्षी ने बोला कि उस टाइम और उसका बढ़ गया, तो अब जब मैं प्रैक्टिस कर रही थी तो मेरा भी हुआ. लेकिन फिर मैंने क्या किया, 1 सेकंड के लिए ना, जब हार्ट पर आपने कहा कि हार्ट के ऊपर कॉन्सेंट्रेट करो, तो थोड़ा सा बढ़ा, लेकिन फिर मैंने 1 सेकंड के लिए वहां से ध्यान हटाया हार्ट पर से और मैंने अपनी ब्रीदिंग पे फोकस कर लिया ध्यान. तो वो सटल हो गया, धीरे 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 वो सबसाइड हो गया, वो जो हेवीनेस मुझे फील हो रहा था. तो ऐसा मुझे लगा. इस पे आई डोंट नो वेदर दैट वाज द
absolutely that's a very beautiful way. In fact, there is something called, जैसा आपने कहा, अब मुझे एक चीज याद आई, there's something called backdraft. बैकड्राफ्ट का मतलब होता है जब किसी बिल्डिंग में आग लग जाती है ना, बहुत आग लगी हुई हो, तो जब फायर फाइटर्स वहां जाते हैं तो वो कभी भी दे डोंट फ्लिंग ओपन द विंडोज एंड द डोर्स, क्योंकि अगर वो ऐसा करेंगे तो ऑक्सीजन जो है वो पूरा अंदर रश होगा और उस वजह से क्या होगा, एक्सप्लोजन भी हो सकता है, ब्लास्ट भी हो सकता है, राइट? तो वो क्या करते हैं, वो छोटे छोटे होल्स क्रिएट करते हैं उस वॉल के अराउंड और बहुत धीरे धीरे उस फायर को बाहर निकलने देते हैं. सो दे डोंट क्रिएट मैसिव ओपनिंग्स बट दे लेट इट आउट वेरी स्लोली. सो जो आपने कहा, इट इज वेरी सिमिलर कि when you notice that your heart is open, then you allow that healing to happen. But when you feel that your heart is closing, आपको उसको rest करने देना है, right? So I think what you did was very beautiful. That जब पेन बहुत ज्यादा उमड़ उमड़ के बाहर आ रहा है, हम क्या करते हैं, थोड़ी देर के लिए उसको अपना ध्यान ब्रीदिंग पर वापस ले आइए, अपनी बॉडी सेंसेशंस पे वापस ले आइए, या फिर अगर आपको लगता है यू कैन जस्ट टेक अ 2-minute ब्रेक, just get up, take a walk, come back. Or you can just, listen to some peaceful music just for 2 minutes and then come back, right? So whatever it is that lets your heart feel relaxed. क्योंकि हम जबरदस्ती ये नहीं कर सकते, हमें इसको बहुत प्यार से, उसको बहुत केयर के साथ हमें इसको करना है, right? So very beautiful.
I guess thank you very much, ma'am. With this, we move to the end of the session. And now I would like to call Dr. Shabana Azmi, ma'am, to give vote of thanks and express our gratitude and conclude the session consequently.
Yeah, actually, I have introduced the session, but today I want Shelja ma'am to give vote of thanks because she has been the backbone of mind management sessions. So I request her to give the vote of thanks. Thank you, Suraj.
A very good afternoon to everyone. So I actually want to thank Swaruti today for not only relaxing us, recharging us, rejuvenating us, but above all, making us enjoy ourselves through all this session. We really enjoyed, I think, all of the students here, the way they were participating and the way they were doing the exercises. It was all visible with you. We were enjoying with every exercise, with every thought. We were feeling the same, what you were making us feel. So I want to thank Swaruti. Firstly, when I actually called her up, I messaged her that I want a session. She didn't even think for a second. She said, just let me know the time, I'll adjust. I know time is very precious today, but she didn't give it a thought. I know she's very busy. Her only thing was, they tell me the time and the date and I'll be available. And the way participation is there, the response from the students, we want you to come back again and make our students enjoy and laugh with you. That's very important. Laughing is a scarce thing today. Happiness is a scarce thing today. Today we smiled with you, laughed with you. So it's really a wonderful experience. You can all see students' response here. So we want you to come back again for some more series, not a session. And we'll plan out that later. Okay, probably in the month of March, April, or sometime later. And for all that we have done here, we have a wonderful team of students, okay, mind management team, Gandhi Study Circle team, and students outside Gandhi Study team who are actually taking a lot of pains to bring out this initiative into the students community in Delhi University, outside Delhi University. So they are putting a lot of efforts. I want to thank them from the bottom of my heart. All that you see today, the participation and everything, students have an important role to play. Last but not the least, our lovely audience. Every Sunday on a holiday, they come for the sessions, they participate, they spare their valuable time. So thanks to all of you, because your presence, your participation motivate us to do something more, something better, something unique, something different. So thanks to all of you. We'll come up with something new next week. And we have two very important things lined up. In February, we have planned a very good, big event where we are inviting internationally renowned speaker, Sister Shivani, for an inspirational talk. And after that, we'll start with meditation series for students. So we look forward to your participation. And we have actually, given the response you people have given us, we have opened an Insta page also, mannserubaru, where you can actually know about the upcoming events. And lastly, if you have any personal things to ask, you can contact us. We have coordinators. There is Ishani and there is Suraj. You can send a personal message and we can get back to you. And that's all for today. Next Sunday, again, we are going to meet Thanks again to our special, lovely guest speaker. Thanks so much for your
Thank you so
valuable
much.
time.
Thank you so much. It feels really heartwarming to be here today.
Same here.
And I remember my struggle as a student and how much I wanted somebody to, be there with me and hold me. So it just feels so blessed to be here. Thank you so much for having me. Bye.
Bye. Take care.